Hi everyone, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak, his name is Jimmy the Bag. This is Loshak in the Bag Show, Friday, December 15th, the 12 o'clock Eastern Time edition. Jimmy the Bag, the big news from yesterday. You know what the big news from yesterday is, right, Jim?
What's the big news?
Take a fucking wild guess. A fucking wild guess, Jim.
You're not in the black in every sport?
Yeah, went negative in NBA. Unbelievable. And the shit is continuing. The fucking Pistons, man. The fucking Pistons are testing my fucking patience. Get a blowout win over Atlanta. Blowout win in the first half. What was my play on the game officially? First quarter minus a half. Did that one win? They lost that one. And then I did, though, have the first half over and the full game over. First quarter, 61 points in the first quarter. First half over, loses by a half point. It lands on 105. I had to take 105 and a half. And, of course, the full game goes way under. These fucking Detroit Pistons tested my fucking patience here.
What are you going to do with them today?
I don't know what I'm going to do with them today, Jimmy the Bag. This is the frustrating part of sports betting, right, Jim?
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
I thought it was a big bounce-back spot for the Pistons, and I was fucking dead on. So I gave a pick on the game, and it loses. Unfreaking believable, Jimmy the Bag.
It was extremely irritating seeing them dominate that game from start to finish.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. I'm still feeling okay about everything in general. The other news is that I had two more plays in college basketball. Both of them won. Now I'm up like 24 units on the year in college basketball. So it's a pretty it's an interesting day, Jimmy the Bag. Today we have a huge obviously NBA card, and there are a bunch of I think I'm just, the key is just to be like, well, do I not know what I'm seeing, or am I able to find edges and be focused and give those edges? I will try to get positive today in NBA. There's a bunch of plays that I'm thinking I'm liking. In NHL, obviously a lot of home underdogs, weird situations, right? NBA, a lot of weird situations. I'm thinking I'm liking some unders in the NBA. So let me just do one quick thing here, Jimmy the Bag. Pop out this friggin' chat. Pop out chat. Okay.
And also, I had a bad night, though. We haven't talked about that. Kind of you not to bring it up right away. But I had a bad night, which was coming on the heels of a great night. And it was disappointing. It was very disappointing that, again, that's 2 games in a row. I haven't taken the Tampa Bay Lightning gift to us. I see another gift in the NHL tonight, and I imagine you know who that will be, and we'll get to that when we're there. But it's just a mistake not taking these gifts. You have to take what the league gives you, and I've made a mistake. I'm overthinking things in hockey.
And you mentioned before that we all have our personal approaches to sports betting, handicapping, and we notice that some of our approaches tend to be right and some tend to be wrong. You mentioned before that Jimmy the Bag, that you feel like you tend to do better when you're tired. You remember when you said that? And what does that tell me?
That I'm not overthinking things.
Exactly. And when you're tired, you just don't have, you're just like, fuck it, I'm not going to overthink it. And that's when you say, yes, that is absolutely true. Because, of course, the more you look, these lines are so tight, right, that the more you look into any bet or any game, of course you can start to make an argument for the other side and start to find reasons why you're wrong, right? And then if you can't find any reasons why you're wrong, that in itself starts to become a reason why you're wrong. It's like, I can't find any reason why I'm wrong, so there must be something that I'm not seeing, and that's the reason I'm wrong. So the point is that, yes, the point is that you can never be 100% sure of anything. You definitely want to be careful. You definitely want to, do your research, of course, but get into the habit. One of the most important things in sports betting is to be able to, think about it a lot without overthinking it. You know what I'm saying? You always want to keep that back bird's eye view. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like anytime there's a big home underdog, you always want to have the bird's eye view of home underdogs tend to be good bets, even if, so there's a lot of interesting situations. All right, Jimmy the Bag, let's get on with it. Do you have the chat comments coming up there?
I do.
Just want to see what your first one is to make sure I didn't miss any of the great ones. Let me see what the first comment that you have is.
Hi, guys. It's always John Carlo.
There you go. Okay.
John Carlo, I love you, man.
That's the guy from Portugal?
And he's always the first guy on, and he's a great guy. All of the guys who are already on are such quality guys. I enjoy seeing every morning.
We got to take this shit on the road and do a couple of weeks of shows from Portugal, right, on the seaside. And you know who's going to pay for that shit? SBR, motherfucker. SBR, motherfucker.
I was going to say the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, no. Not our own bets. Not our own bets. Because and even if our own bets do wind up winning, you know who's going to pay for it anyway? Still going to pay for it. SBR is going to pay for our fucking trip to, no, I'm kidding around. We probably will just be in here, in perpetuity. But that's okay. All right, Jim, enough fucking around here. Let's just quickly remind everyone who wasn't tracking at home what our record was yesterday. And then let's see if we can't have a nice little bounce back day today. Jimmy the Bag, yesterday, I was 4-9, minus 6 units. And that is all due to the NBA, right? I had was 1-6 in the NBA. What can I say? Minus 5.6 units. Still 2-0 in college basketball. And again, win or lose, college basketball tends to be very good for me. And Jimmy the Bag, you were 2-6, minus 4.4 units, and that's enough of that. Let's see if we can't have a bounce back day here, Jimmy the Bag. What do you think, pal? What do you think, pal?
I think we're going to have a great bounce back day because I am tired.
Mm-hmm, yes.
I did sleep at the office.
Very nice.
Thank you. And I have 12 pages of fucking notes.
There we go. And also, I'm wearing, I don't know if this shirt is lucky or not, but sure as hell is pretty funky. What do you think about this, Jimmy the Bag? Look at this shit.
Oh,
Look at a pretty funky shirt here.
Pretty funky.
Right, let's get into it. We're going to start off with the NBA, right? Is the NBA first on the agenda here?
Sure.
Yeah, and let me just make sure with the, let's start in with it. NBA, overall, let's throw those NBA records up there. Let's look at this, Jimmy the Bag. You're now officially ahead of me in the NBA. Unbelievable. You are down about 1.5 units on the year, and I am down 3.3 units on the year. Unfucking believable. I've tried to get slick/cute. That makes 3 straight first quarter bets that I made that were big losers where the teams covered easily the full game spreads. And the same shit has happened to me in first period totals in NHL.
I almost got in a actual real serious argument when I was told that I was told yesterday by a person I wanted that you can't beat the NBA, that nobody beats the NBA and all this shit.
Okay, well that I guess that leaves us off the hook a little bit. I think that Harold Bos-Vallarbos would, you know that guy, Harold Bos-Vallarbos? Yeah, he's a guy who has beaten the NBA just a little bit over the past couple of years. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. I'm looking forward. I like this card. Let's make some fucking money.
All right, let's look at this shit. Although the NBA is tricky, and you always have to be careful of what you're looking at and what you think you're seeing as opposed to what you're actually seeing. All right, in the NBA today, I felt like I was seeing a bunch of plays that I was liking on the unders. Let's start with you, Jimmy the Bag. What are you liking? And then I'll get into some of the picks that I was liking here.
First off, I'm going back to the well, and I'm not afraid to go back to the well. I think this line will get worse throughout the day. I'm on the Bulls again today. I think there might even be an 8.5 out there. I'm hoping there is.
Let's see.
Might have gone down to 8. Bucks lost 115-108 to New Orleans on Tuesday night, snap a 3-game winning streak. They've won 11 of 16. Eric Bledsoe has given them a second scoring option that they so desperately need. They're 4th in the NBA, shooting 48% from the field. Dellavedova, Snell remain out with knee issues, and now Mirza Teletovic is out indefinitely with a lung issue. The Bulls are 4-0 with Mirotic in the lineup. He keeps looking better and better every game. The Bulls are playing well, and they're enjoying coming to the arena. Markkanen is questionable, but with the way Mirotic is playing, he may not find a lot of minutes when he comes back. I just think the Bulls are in a good spot, and I'm getting a ton of points.
Yes. Hey, do you have a thing that I could check the comments for? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Here you go. Really appreciate it. Ariel, thank you so much. Like a fucking hero coming in 2 seconds. Thank you so much, Ariel. Fucking hero over there behind the camera. All right. So with the Bulls, yes, we do have some 8.5s, and it does appear to be headed up, actually. You could take 8.5 plus 100 or the Greek line, which is plus 8 plus 107. Probably the 8.5 is better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, plus 8.5 plus 100. That is the line at Pinnacle, and that line does appear to be headed up because it opened at 8, and it does appear to be headed up. Obviously, the Bulls at first glance are a no-brainer, but maybe, again, the situation where you don't overthink it. I was looking at this game and thinking that overs might be the way to go, and especially with the first half over. Let me see where that one is. Yeah, I did take it at 204.5. Wow, now it's up to 205.5 or 206. And the first half over, which is also something I was thinking about, is right now at 104.5. So I was thinking about overs both ways. First half over, full game over, and also I was thinking about just the Bulls team total over, which might also be worth a shot, just in case Milwaukee puts up 120 and the Bulls don't cover, but still have a big offensive game. The Bulls team total over would be 98.5 minus 105 at Heritage and at Pinnacle, and at Heritage 99 minus 110. Wow. All right. So the Bulls Heritage seems to be Pinnacle seems to be taking money on the under for the Bulls team total over. What's your take on overs in this one, Jimmy?
I think that if the Bulls move forward, they will do it as a tough defensive unit. So I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's not an angle that makes sense. I just think that they're going to be a tough, strong defensive team moving forward. You know, getting points from Holiday and getting points from Mirotic, but as they go, Portis, these guys got to play big and tough and strong. I think they have the right defenders to give Antetokounmpo a tough spot. So I'm not 100%. I mean, 98 seems like very
98 and a half.
That's a nice spot.
Yeah,
but
and the full game, Vishnu Ace is saying yes. It opened up at 203 and a half. Now it's up to 206. Some places still up 205 and a half. So obviously the over is headed up here. All right, I'll start off with maybe I'm getting too cute here, but I'll start off with just a first half over on this one, which is 104 and a half minus 102. Or although actually, maybe I will. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what the lines are at 6 o'clock, and we'll see if the headline. I don't think the line's going to get headed up. I think it might go back down by 6 o'clock, and we'll see how it turns out.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. And Corey Jean says the under is a play here. I like the under. So if people are going to start hammering that under, I think that's a really smart.
And on the Pistons game yesterday, if I had waited until the afternoon show at 6 o'clock Eastern time, as I mentioned, the lines had gone down. I would have been able to get 105 on the. I think I would have actually been able to get 104 and a half. So it would have been the difference between a win and a loss. I definitely remember I saw 105. So I would have at least had a push and maybe even a win on that one. All right, I'm going to hold off on that one. I'm definitely leaning overs, definitely leaning Chicago team total over, and have to be agreeing with Jim that maybe it's a no-brainer play on Chicago plus the points. All right, let's see. Some other games I was thinking, well, let's go to Clippers in Washington just because I just glanced at SBR odds, and that's the first game that I saw, and that's another one of these games I was thinking about a shot with the under here, right? With John Wall back, obviously the totals are a little bit getting higher now with Washington, but we know they've had success with the defense, with strong defensive games this year, and the Clips have had some nice wins in ATS covers recently, playing lower scoring games. So no-brainer play here as far as I'm concerned. It looks like the under is probably an easy and obvious play, or would you disagree with that?
What is the number at?
It opened at 20 at 2. Actually, it opened at 210, and I jumped on that. Shit, now it's down to 208. Heritage still has 209, so I could get 209 minus 110 at Heritage.
I think that is a good play. I really like that play.
I'm taking it under 209 minus 110 at Heritage. Pinnacle has 208. A bunch of other places have 208. So that's what I'm taking right there.
I am jumping on the Clippers.
Okay.
Full game. Is getting a double digits now, which I think is a great spot. After beating the Magic 106-95 on Wednesday, the shorthanded Clipper squad now is a 3-game winning streak already without Blake Griffin, Patrick Beverley, Danilo Gallinari. Now they are without Austin Rivers, who's been ruled out with a concussion. Lou Will has stepped up in a giant way, and I've seen him do this before up in the 6. He has 66 points over the last 2 games. The Wizards welcomed John Wall back to the lineup after a 9-game absence in that 93-87 defeat versus Memphis. He didn't look very good, and I know he'll get better. 13 points, 4 assists, 1 board. They let a 17-point lead slip away in that game. They played without Markieff Morris and Mahinmi, and Morris is probable for tonight, but Ian Mahinmi will be remains day-to-day. John Carlos says Gallinari will play. I believe he's going to be out for a while. So if you know more about that, please let me know. But I like the Clippers at double digits. I'm going to take them.
All right, plus 10 minus 110 is the line there, and I'm taking the unders on this one. I'm going to take them on the first half and the full game. Under 209 minus 110, and the first half under 106 minus 110. I am taking both of those, and Jim's going to take the Clippers.
You know what? I think that under is a good play.
Okay.
I'm jumping on it as well.
Okay.
Full game.
Full game. Jim's going to take the under, and again, we are taking the Heritage line right now. It is 209 minus 110, and Jim's also taking the Clippers plus 10 minus 110 market wide. That is getting bet up. It's 9.5 or 10. We'll see what that is. What?
Osmana, man. My body's ready. My heart's on fire. I'm going to push it over the wire.
Man, this guy's a fucking poet. We got to get this guy some exposure, man. We got to get this guy a fucking agent. This guy's a fucking real poet here.
My body's ready. My heart's on fire.
All right. I'm going to push it over the wire. And the wire to me is dead even in NBA. I'm hoping to push it over that wire today with some NBA picks. All right, Jim, what else do you want to let's go back to you. What do you want to give us from the NBA today?
Well, to be honest with you, those were my favorite spots, clearly. And so I'd love to break down some of these games. What is the most exciting game to me? For sure, it's Spurs at Rockets.
Yeah.
Even though they lost to the Mavericks, Kawhi Leonard's returned to the lineup. He looked like his old self. 16 minutes, still put up 13.6 boards. Danny Green's probable. Kyle Anderson remains out. And now they have to face a Houston Rockets team that's 22-4, 111 straight, 12-0 with Chris Paul in the lineup. Now, they've lost Mbah Moute to a shoulder injury. Not as bad as they feared, but but he'll be out 2 or 3 weeks. So Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker will see a big uptick in minutes. And I think the Rockets want to send a message. The Spurs eliminated them last year in round 2 of the playoffs, but the line is probably in the I thought it is exactly where I would have thought it would be, and I don't know if I see an angle at this point. I don't know if you guys do, but
yeah, I was just thinking that the Spurs with Leonard back and an extra day to prep and getting big points have got to be the play here, but maybe not.
My initial feeling was that 8 points is enough. Like the Rock, especially with Mbah Moute out. And how will that affect the totals now? Because he's their best defender, and I mean PJ Tucker is a good defender, very good defender as well. But
okay, Cal 707 Bear says Chicago team total over 98.5. They can get 100. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hako Schofield says Rockets low-hanging fruit once again. So not just liking the Rockets to a cover, but labeling them low-hanging fruit. Okay there, Hako Schofield. Medicine H2O likes love Pacers minus 4.5. Justin Searcy likes the Pacers at home. Justin Piercy likes the Pacers. There we go. Justin Searcy also says Clippers don't get blown out and Washington isn't blowing anyone out. Okay, there you go. Let's see. All right. Okay. And that's about it. Okay. So, yes, this is an interesting game. The San Antonio and Houston. Hako Schofield likes Houston as low-hanging fruit. I was thinking that, the Spurs with Kawhi back and, an extra day to prep and getting big points have to be a no-brainer play, but maybe that is totally wrong. Obviously, Houston is just a team that they're winning game in and game out, but the market is clearly not overvaluing them undervaluing them right now. They're getting appropriately valued. They're winning game in and game out, but they're getting a lot of ATS losses or close ATS wins or pushes. So yeah,
I think that total is susceptible. I think they can go over 213. I mean, without Mbah Moute in the lineup, why wouldn't they go over 213?
Yeah, it certainly could be the case. I'm going to wait and think about this one a little bit more, and then look at it in the afternoon show a little bit more closely. All right, what else was I thinking about?
You know what? I think that is the more I think about it, and the more I say it out loud. I think that over is a play. I think they're gonna score. I'm sure the Spurs will try to slow down the Rockets, but I'm gonna take the over full game.
Okay, it is now 213.5, but the Greek has 213, so we can give you over 213 minus 110. That is the current line at the Greek. A lot of uncertainty here. Intertops has 214. Pinnacle has 213.5 juice to the over. So they appear to be agreeing with your lean there as of right now, Jim. As of 12:20 Eastern time. Houston over 213 minus 110. That's an official pick for you, Jim?
Yes.
All right, and then okay, let's see. One other game that's interesting, of course, is the OKC and Philly game. Both of these teams are coming off of wins where they sort of broke long extended streaks of ATS futility. Right, Philly beat Minnesota in OT as a dog last game. Before that, they had been 1-6-1 ATS, and OKC, of course, beat Indian last game, ending a super long string of ATS consecutive losses. I think it was 9 in a row, something horrific. I'm not sure what to think about this game, but I am thinking that maybe a shot with the under. We know that OKC can be very defense oriented at times, and Philly may be a little bit more easygoing offensively after the Minnesota win. I was thinking about a shot with the under here, even though the line has gotten bet up since it opened at about 210, and I think I got it at 214 or 214.5, and now it's down to a 212.5 or 213.5. What do you think about that game? Anything to say about that game?
I think I was afraid of this game. I broke it all down, and I was like, you know what? Just write down all the notes, and just let it come to you. And nothing came to me. And then when you say the under, I'm like, that is the play here. Are the Thunder about to be the team we expected them to be? It looks like it's possible after they win in Paul George's return to Indiana. They've won 5 of 7. George and Melo had bad nights, and they still took care of business against a vastly improved Pacers squad and Pacers at home. George went 3 for 14, 12 points, 4 turnovers. Carmelo Anthony's continued his terrible play, 4 for 14 for 12 points. He's shooting 36% from the field and 34% from 3. Steven Adams is the second scoring option, like we talked about last week. 23 points, 13 boards. Westbrook is almost averaging a triple-double, but shooting a career low low, 38.9% from the floor. They're all shooting terribly. And unlike the Rockets, when we're like, oh, they'll get out of this, I don't know if they're going to get out of this. The Sixers are also a very difficult team to figure out. I expected them to be better than 14 and 13. They ended their 4-game losing streak with a 118-112 win at Minnesota, and Embiid was an absolute monster, 28 points, 12 boards, 8 assists. He's dealing with back tightness. Yeah. He can't be trusted to be in the lineup every night. If you're making a bet on Philly, you got to wait till 5 o'clock because you never know when he's going to be on the bench. Ben Simmons had a tough night. These are becoming a little bit more regular. He's starting to have tough nights more and more often. 7 points, 8 assists, 3 boards, and 7 turnovers. They're averaging a league-worst 17.2 turnovers, 26 turnovers in their win over Minnesota. Covington is expected back in the lineup, and that's a big help. But I think that under is the move. It just makes sense. I'm on it. I'm on it. Full game under. Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking it as well. It is 212.5, 213, or 213.5. So we will get 213.5 minus 110. We do have some agreement here. Delta 75 likes the Sixers team total under. Justin Searcy says under 213 is a gift, I think. Well, we're getting 213.5. So that's a gift and a hook right there. Hako Schofield says, love this fucking show. Thank you so much, Hako Schofield. And Justin Searcy, yep. Liking the under. So I'm taking the under 213.5. So is Jim. The first half under, also a little bit tempting. It is 107.5 or 108. What do you think about that? Why not? Because Philly might start out a little bit faster paced?
I just find Philly to be so unpredictable that I'm not going to double up on the game. But yes, that makes perfect sense. If the way we see the game unfolds the way we expect it to, yes, that makes perfect sense. But I'm hesitant to double up.
Right. I hear you. Totally agree with you on that one, Jimmy the Bag. All right, let's find some other plays that I was thinking about. Well, the Utah-Boston game is very interesting, right? Utah off of 3 straight up and ATS losses after, of course, that epic long run of ATS winning, and it's interesting how when Gobert comes back, things get a little bit messed up for them. Boston has been slumping ATS-wise. They're now 1-3-1 ATS over their last 5. Al Horford is coming back. I'm not sure what I think about the total, but I was thinking that maybe Utah getting decent points here might be worth a shot. This is not a game where I would take Utah on the money line necessarily, but I could easily see this one going down to the wire unless you think that Horford and Kyrie Irving are just going to be unstoppable in this game and blow them out.
I completely agree with you, but I expect and I predict that we get a better line on the late show. My whole idea was that the money will start coming in on the Celtics. I expected to get a better line than we're getting on the Jazz. I thought we might be getting 7 points, and it started at 5.5, but I see a 6 now on the board. I think we're going to start getting more. I think money's going to come in on the Celtics. The Jazz, as you said, it's just been strange seeing what happens with Gobert in the lineup. So the Jazz have lost 9 straight games in Boston. They've lost 4 in a row, 2 straight to start this 6-game road trip. It feels like it was just yesterday when we were calling Quinn Snyder a genius. Rodney Hood came back and put up 15 in their 3-point loss to Chicago. So they're bringing Rodney Hood back in. They're bringing Gobert back in, and it's not working. XM and Nito remain out of the lineup, but Joe Johnson will be making his season debut. I expect him to play 7 or 8 minutes. Celtics shot 59.5% from the floor in that 24-118 win over the Nuggets. It was their highest shooting percentage in the game since 2013. Irving put up 33. Brown put up 26. Al Horford and Marcus Morris were both out of the lineup, and because of that, they were out rebound 48-30. Horford will be back. Morris will be out for an extended period. I think late money is going to come on the Celtics, and I bet you we get a better line.
And here is some information that sort of supports that. XV Dynasty says, I only like Utah due to the money on Boston. So yes, the money is coming in on Boston, and yet the line appears to be headed down in the other direction. Vaughn Smith likes the Utah game and under. Brendan Cummings says Celtics are 6-2-1 ATS last 9 on a Friday, and the Jazz are 3-8 ATS in their last 11 road games. Delta 75, who does have a pretty good read on a lot of these NBA games, predicts Celtics 106, Jazz 97, a 9-point win and slim cover for the Celtics. Al Hard says, I think Boston covers. Interesting situation here, Jim.
But Baseball Bob's with me, says, wait, Jimmy, Jazz will be +8. Elio Rodriguez says, yep, damn, Jimmy, I thought the same thing. I expect, and then Corey Jean says Celtics all day. I need more people thinking like Corey Jean. I need more people thinking... and Justin Searcy, this was another point, and I can't believe I didn't write it down. And Searcy talked about it a lot 3 weeks ago, but Boston has trouble against good bigs. And I know that Gobert is trying to figure out his role, but Derek Favors is playing very well. He's obviously slowed down since Gobert's come back, but that's a truth, man. Boston has trouble against good bigs.
A lot of back and forth and disagreement on this game. Here are all the comments. Here we go. I don't even know. Okay, Vishnu A says Boston covers. I agree. JP Fahey says Celtics win by 8 or 10. Let's see. Medicine H20 says, yep, Boston seems like a good play. Delta 75 says Celtics team total over is my best. Justin Searcy, yes, so says Boston versus good bigs. They suck on bigs. Let's see. Eric Swiatek says Celtics get back to their ATS ways. I'm laying the points here. Malik Richton says Jazz Celtics over is something I love, and that is also something I was thinking about when I was capping this game. I was thinking maybe about the over. I had a bunch of question marks next to that one. Corey Jean says Celtics all day. Interesting. Brandon Cummings, Jazz are 2-9 ATS last 11 on 1 day of rest. And Baseball Bob says, wait, Jimmy, Jazz will be +8. Okay, so a lot of interesting comments here. Most people seeming to be preferring the Celtics here, and most people seeming to be of the opinion that the line's going to get bet up, and a few opinions liking the over, which was the way I was thinking as well, and the Boston team total over. Wow, very, very, very interesting. All right, I will stay off it right now, see where the lines move, and think about it a little bit more. Thanks for all the very interesting, insightful comments and opinions from the comment box. Definitely giving Jim and I a leg up on these. I guess we'll pass on this one, right?
At this point, I'm gonna wait. I plan to hammer this, but I really think that I'm gonna get at least one more point.
Okay, next game. Let's talk about Brooklyn and Toronto. Right now, the Nets, of course, lost to the Knicks. I had a gut feel. I didn't say it, but I had a gut feeling that I was just totally wrong on that one. I wound up eating 3 losses, Nets minus the points, and the unders were wrong. Now the Raps return home. They've been playing great, but maybe a little overvalued ATS-wise. They've been, playing great and scoring a lot, but not necessarily a covering game in and game out. I was thinking maybe this is a shot where we have a little bit of a lower scoring game, and maybe the Nets at least early, first quarter or first half. What do you think, Jim?
I agree. I think they're getting too many points here, and I follow this team very closely. We've spoken about how they're beating up bad teams. They've been playing this huge string of teams under 500. But they're in a great spot for their season. They played 16 of their 26 games on the road, and now they will not have to play another game in a Pacific time zone for the rest of the year. After beating the Suns 115-109 in Phoenix, they capped off that 4-game road trip, and now they finally get to go home. Home, where they're 9-1 and have won 7 straight there, and that's why the points are so high. Yeah. They've beaten Brooklyn 8 straight times by an average of 11.3 points, but I think you put a line through that because this is a much more difficult Brooklyn team to play against. Nets are on the second half of a back-to-back. They lost last night, as you guys know, 111-104 to the Knicks. Dinwiddie went off, 26 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. Hollis Jefferson had 25 points, 7 boards. And the reason why they lost was because they shot just 12 for 42. 12 for 42 from 3. That's terrible, and you're always going to lose when you put up those kind of numbers. And that's the difference in the game. I would have hit had they just hit a couple more of those threes. But yeah, I think this spread is it's too big.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take Brooklyn on the first half, +7, -103. I also might throw them on the first quarter at the Pinnacle opener, which might even be 4. Actually, you know what? I'll take that one. I'll double up. I hope I'm not getting too cute, but I need some fucking units to get positive in the NBA. I will take Brooklyn first half +7, -103, and on the first quarter the Pinnacle opener, which might even be 4. We'll see.
There's great stuff here. Brandon Cummings says the Nets are 10-2 against the spread in their last 12 overall. Surprisingly, they are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games with no days of rest. Yeah. The Nets are hot right now, and I like them, he says. Yeah. And then another interesting point Jesse Daly dropped was that Nets looked horrible last night. Crabbe struggled to hit iron, and Crabbe is a good 3-point shooter. And I like taking teams after someone like Crabbe doesn't hit buckets. Now, this Raptors team has flown. They are sort of rest, but they have flown all the way across the country back to Toronto. It's a tricky spot right now that I'll continue to study.
Okay, some interesting comments on this one. Justin Searcy says that spread is too big for Toronto. McGogster says, I would lean full game pistol, and you know that if the Nets cover the full game but they lose the first quarter and the first half, I'm going to be breaking shit in here on Monday. But I mean, who knows? It just feels like they should come out. I think they're going to come out strong. Yeah, I like the full game as well. I'm just not sure that I want to take it 3 ways, although maybe I should. Yeah, I definitely like that one. Delta 75 says pass on this Raptor game. Hako Schofield saying, how much for a Pete poster? I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to make some posters soon, and we will definitely give them out at cost, for free. We're not going to take a fucking hit on it, but we'll give them out at cost for sure. So they'll be very, very cheap, and maybe we could get some people taking pictures of them on their wall. That would be awesome. Then I would put pictures of on my wall of other people with our posters on their walls. That would be awesome. That's what I'm going to have on my walls. All right. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. All right. So I'm going to take. And here you go. Vishnu Ace says. Let's see. He says he seems to be. I can't tell what he's liking there on the total. Even though Toronto's been an explosive team offensively at home for sure. I'm just thinking that this one might be a decent play on the under, and I'm also definitely going to take the Nets first quarter and first half. Let's see. Israel Williams says Brooklyn whole game is the play tonight. Okay. McGogster says Raps are very good in the first half at home. Don't get too cute. Remember Detroit. Yes, McGogster. Remember Detroit indeed. I might take it three ways. I did just give those picks officially, so I'm not going to take them back right now. You're right. The Raptors are very good in first half at the home, but they are coming back for a road trip, and the Nets are, off a kind of embarrassing loss, on a back-to-back. So I'm going to take the Nets here in the first half and the first quarter, and I might take them on the full game as well. We shall see. I might triple up on this one for sure, and I'm thinking about taking a shot on the under on that one. Delta 75 says Raps 115-102 type game, sharp line. Okay. All right. Justin Sergi says, yeah, I'm off that game too. I don't love it enough. Oh, no, he's talking about the Clippers game. All right. Then Stephen Hamilton at cost, make money with that. You guys deserve it. Thank you so much, Stephen Hamilton. Yeah, you're damn skippy. We do deserve it, Jimmy the Bag.
But not from you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We want you guys to succeed and have better lives because of this capping, and we're never going to take a cent over cost.
I just want to be 80 years old and have a few bucks in my pocket to be able to hand some nurse to turn me over when I can't turn myself over. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Man.
How depressing can I get in the middle of a great show, right?
Man, I'll be there to turn you over, man.
That's my goal. I just need a few bucks to pay some nurse to fucking turn me over when I'm 85. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, we're going to get the best nurses in the game, man. We're going to get those amputee porn stars.
Thanks so much, Jimmy the Bag. All right, let's see. Here we go. Al Mack says Brooklyn will be motivated. The crowd is going to be all over Carroll. Nets will be motivated to shut up the crowd. Yeah, look, I'm liking the Nets here, and I might triple the fuck up on this game. And, if all three of them win, that's 3 units. Positive for me, and that'll eat up a bunch of negative units.
I love Al Mack, and he's a Toronto guy, but I don't think that the fans are going to be all over Carroll. He wanted to stay. He just, he had knee problem. I don't think they're going to be all over Carroll. I don't see any reason to boo him. And then Eric Nisbet says, is representing Guatemala. That's great. We have a Guatemalan in the house as well.
All over the world. Fans from all over the world. And Chris Watson says, you guys have me positive 600 for the week. That's great, Chris Watson. I would definitely take long-term my college basketball opinions as well. What's so funny?
Oh, JP Fahey says that Vi Nguyen wants to turn you over.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, Vi Nguyen just came in. That was a commenter from a few days ago who asked if he/she, we don't know whether it was he or she yet, could sit on my mustache. I said no fucking way. I
know if it's a he or a she.
Yeah. Then Vi Nguyen just disappeared after that comment. There you go.
Aspire Too Late says that his granny will turn you over.
Very nice.
Still need a picture.
She'll be fucking 135 at that time. But yeah, look, if she can turn a motherfucker over, she can turn me over when I'm 85. All right. So let's see. I might triple up on that one, and I might also give the under on that one. And the first half under on that one is a very, very curious total. The total on the full game obviously is high. It's a 218.5 or 219, and the first half total is just 105, so way less than 50% of the full game total. Let me think about this one. You know what? I'll give it right now. I'm going to give this one right now. I'm going to give the under on this one, just on the full game, and let me see if there's a 219. Nope, no 219s available. There are 218.5s though. It's all 218.5. Under 218.5 minus 104. Toronto under 218.5 minus 104. I'm making that an official pick. I think if it goes under, it goes significantly under. So, I'm taking that one. I'm taking Nets first quarter, Pinnacle opener, Nets first half, +7 minus 103, and the under on that game, 218.5 minus 104. All right, we broke the hell down out of that game, Jimmy the Bag. What else we have here? The games that didn't have overnight lines, I did not get a chance to look at. But
let's talk about our nemesis, the Detroit Pistons.
And Indiana, Jesus Christ.
At first, I wanted to take the Pacers, but then I actually kind of thought it would be a tighter line. Like and maybe I shouldn't be, but I was a little surprised that it was at 4.5. I could have seen it at 3. I mean, I think that we all think that the Pistons have a better roster, but the Pacers are coming off the nationally televised return of Paul George. We all watched 195. Nate McMillan said the team was playing like individuals and not together, that they're not used to being on that nationally exposed situation. This is the final game of the Pacers' 6-game homestand. They had won 4 in a row before the loss. I like taking Oladipo after he goes 9 for 26 from the field and 1 for 9 from 3. We know he's deadly this year. The Pistons stopped that 7 7-game losing streak. This team will only go as far as Jackson, Harris, Bradley, and Drummond will take them. We all know that. Those 4 combined to go 7 for 31 with 15 turnovers in their 19-point loss to the Nuggets, and then they went 24 for 47 in their win versus the Hawks. They're a tough team to figure it out, but I like the Pacers here, and I'm wondering what this line's going to do. There's already a 5 that's jumped up from Heritage.
Yeah, and this is another game where I was thinking about a shot with the under, and that could be a recency bias thing because of what Detroit's been doing over under recently. But they just look like a team that if this total was like 197, I wouldn't take it. But at 209, which is where it opened, I jumped on that under, and it's now 208 or 208.5. I mean, it just looks like this is who Detroit is, right? When they play well, it's because it's low scoring, and when they lose, it's because they can't shoot. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Elio Rodriguez says, Pacers, Jimmy, it's a trap to bet the Pistons plus the points. Donald Trump says, Detroit plus 4.5 is the way to go. Reverse line movement. Public is on Indy, while the line on Detroit has gone down. Brandon Cummings, the Pistons are 0-3-1 against the spread last 4 versus Eastern Conference, and the Pacers are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 Friday games. For whatever reason, Oladipo comes to play on Friday. I like the Pacers here. I'm not sure what to do with it, though.
Yeah. And what do you think about a shot with the under? Obviously, the Pacers are now, I think, 7-1 to the over-under. The 7 out of the last 8 games have gone under, and there was one push there, including yesterday. The first quarter was explosive, 61 points. Maybe they're going to run out of energy, and Indiana will try to run the score up here at the end. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, I think you're on the right track. I think that under is a
decent play.
Yes, it's so decent that I'm very close to jumping
Davis
on
says
it.
Under is solid too. All right, listen. I did bet it. I got 209. It's now 208 or 208.5 at Bookmaker and Heritage. I'm not going to double up on this under at all. I'm just going to take it on the full game. Full game under 208.5 minus 110.
I'm on it.
You want it too?
I want it too.
Okay. Indiana under 208.5 minus 110. Jimmy the Bag and I are both on that one.
Mr. MC Coates 80 says something that I was curious about. And he says, stay off the Pistons. There is more going on than just basketball. The players and coach have issues, and that makes a lot of sense. That explains a lot of what we're seeing.
Yes.
And Van Gundy's not an easy guy to go with. He's he's a pretty brash dude. I think the under's the play, and I want to take Indiana. I think I should probably do both. Where do you think this line's going to go today?
As far as the spread is concerned,
yeah.
My guess is that it will head in Indiana's direction. That's just my guess. I mean, it did open at 5. It's now down to 4.5. My guess is that there's not going to be any sharp action on a side here, and that there will be public money seeing Detroit as a team that's been losing a lot on a back-to-back and saying, all right, I'm going to bet Indiana. But that's my guess. I have no idea.
I think that's a good guess, and I think the Pacers are the play here. Let's see. Coach says, I live in Michigan, so I know. Drummond and Jackson have problems with Van Gundy.
Yeah.
That explains a lot, Coach. It explains a lot. Elio says this could be the lock, Indiana.
All right. We do have to pick it up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to take it right now. Minus 4.5. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. Indiana minus 4.5. Best line right now would be minus 107 at Pinnacle. Indiana minus 4.5. Minus 107 is the best line at Pinnacle right now, and everywhere else has there's no 5s available, no 4s available. So we'll see where this line moves. Of course, we will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time to observe the line moves and to comment on the line moves of these very interesting games. All right, let's review all the picks we've given. See if you want to add anything else, Jim, and then we will move on to NHL. So far in the NBA, Jim has given the Bulls plus 8.5 plus 100, Indiana minus 4.5, and the Indiana game under 208.5. He's given the Clippers plus 10, the Washington game under 209. The Houston game over 213, and the Philly game under 213.5. And I have given the Washington game also under 209, and the first half under 106. The Philly game under 213.5. The Indiana game under 208.5. The Toronto game under 218.5, and Brooklyn on the first quarter Pinnacle opener and first half plus 7 minus 103. We do have to get to NHL pretty quickly. Jim, anything else you want to add from today's card?
Nothing I want to add, but do we want to quickly touch on any of these games, or because we got Heat Hornets? Do we not have time?
I mean, if there's any interesting handicapping factors, let's get into it. But time is of the essence here, Jim.
Well, I think the Hawks Grizzlies game and the Pelicans Nuggets game are very interesting spots, especially the Hawks and Grizzlies. Second half of a back-to-back for the Hawks. They played very bad. They had Collins come back. The Grizzlies have lost 14 of 15, but Andrew Harrison finally had a good game. Gasol was happy with the team's defense. He said they were more aggressive. And then the total was the main thing I was thinking about, because Memphis has scored 100 points in just 10 of their games this year, 10 of 28, and the Hawks have allowed 100 points in every game but 3 this year. And I'm curious if the defense or the offense will take control of this spot. And then in the Pelicans situation, a lot of guys like Pelicans in this spot, and I see why they do. And what is the line right now? It's at
for the Pels. It's
minus one. Ooh. I see why they do, and I'm not going to move. I'm not going to make a decision right now because Jokic is back after 7 games, but Will Barton is out now. And if you guys saw what they did without Barton, man, Murray and Harris just went completely off. They combined for 25 for 42 from the field, 64 points, 13 boards, 10 assists, and now Anthony Davis is good to go. He played on Wednesday, and he's good to go. I think this is a really interesting spot.
Okay, very interesting stuff here. Richie Rich comes in saying Raptors over bag/low shack. That's not good. That's just one unit, but I don't have any units to burn here. Okay, let's see. I guess that's Vaughn Smith says Pelicans best bet of the day, and I was also thinking about the first half over in Miami Charlotte. Jim, right now, do you think Miami is a team that can be counted on to get overs here and there? And what do you think about Charlotte?
I think this is the time for Miami to get overs because not only is Hassan Whiteside out, but Justice Winslow is out as well. That's 18 boards off the floor, and you're going to ask Bam Adebayo to take on Dwight Howard. So I know what the Heat are going to do. They're going to go small, and they're going to go small to try and take Howard off the floor. And I think Kemba's knees must be barking because he's just not playing very well.
So does that hurt Charlotte offensively?
I don't think it does because. Now, I'm a big Walker fan, but I think he slows the pace down. I think he does what John Wall does. I think if you take Kemba out, I think the pace speeds up.
Okay, Justin seriously likes Miami plus 5.5. I will throw that one on there as well. Miami and Charlotte, first half over 103 minus 110. That's at Intertops and UWager. We'll see where this line moves, but that's it right now for the NBA. Jimmy the Bag. Let's move on to an NHL.
Sounds great.
Let's throw up the NHL record because even though I also had a losing day in the NHL yesterday, my NHL record's still looking decent. I'm still up double-digit units. Look at that. I'm up 10 units in the NHL plus 5.3% ROI despite having some terrible picks over the past couple days or so. And Jimmy the Bag now down 6.5 units in the NHL, down 3% ROI. Let's see what we got today. We got a bunch of home underdogs. And just looking at this card in general, my sense is if you take all the home underdogs, you'll probably wind up positive. All of them look okay to me, even though, it's understandable why they're home dogs. So, Vancouver's been playing terrible. That's why they're a home dog to San Jose. Buffalo, obviously, just an horrific team. But Carolina, not that much better. They are coming off a win. Buffalo off a back-to-back, so you can understand why they'd be a home dog. New Jersey also off a back-to-back, so I'm not exactly sure why they're that big of a home dog against Dallas. But Dallas, of course, beat the Rangers and the Islanders. But so you can understand why New Jersey's a home dog. And that's about it. I guess Detroit is now not a home dog at all. Wow, that line really took a turn. Detroit was a home dog on the overnight line, and now they are a small favorite. So that's not a home dog anymore at all. But it feels like when Detroit was a home dog, if you had taken Vancouver, Detroit, Buffalo, and New Jersey, probably you'd win 2 of them and win a little bit, right, Jim, or not?
That was my initial idea when I just woke up and looked at the games. Was just take the home dogs, and I'm not doing that at all. First off, can I just jump into a game?
Yeah, go ahead.
This Sharks Canucks game is another gift, and I need the units desperately. So I'm taking Sharks on the puck line. The Canucks have lost 4 straight, being outscored 20-5 over those games. I know this team very well. They desperately miss Bo Horvat. The losing streak started when he fractured his foot against the Leafs. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, they also miss Sven Berchi and Brandon Sutter. But the big thing is that Michael Granlund is trying to play through an upper body injury that he would probably be healing on the sidelines if the Canucks weren't so depleted down the middle. That's why he's playing. He's only playing because we're all so beaten up down the middle. And then Chris Tanev left the Predators game after taking a big hit in day-to-day. That's bad, man. And Jonas Donskoy returned to the lineup for the Sharks, promptly scored the game winner and an assist. He's a big addition to a team devoid of offense. Sharks have earned 4 points in 4 straight games. And remember, we used this to our advantage with the Predators. Martin Jones will be starting tonight, and he's from North Vancouver, right across the Lionsgate Bridge. And he's going to be playing in front of his friends and family. He's going to want to play play well. The Sharks are going to want to win it for them, and I just think this is easy. Now, I know nothing is that easy in this sport, but
I was thinking Vancouver, they've lost 4 in a row, really not scoring, but recently they were a decent play. They won a bunch of games in a row, but last week. I was thinking that Vancouver's small value as a home dog, but you don't think so?
Not a chance. It's down the middle. That's the most important spot. I mean, maybe defense, but down the middle is so crucial. It's so crucial. And Henrik Sedin is not very good on the face-off dot. He's going to be playing more than his old legs are ready for him to play. If Granlund was healthy, maybe. If they had Sutter, maybe. I mean, but you take Horvat and Sutter off of that team, and then Granlund playing when he shouldn't be.
Okay, a lot of, here you go. Esperito says, Jimmy the Bag knows his fucking hockey record will come around.
Thank you,
Justin Searcy agrees with you. Vancouver can't score. Sharks keep people from scoring. Easy money. Let's see. Hako Schofield says, always great research. Let's see. Elio Rodriguez says, LOL, Sharks minus the big line is my pick. Okay. Yeah. All right. A lot of people agreeing with you. Skooma Steve likes it. Brandon Cummings says Sharks good puck line pick. Justin Searcy says, let's go Sharks. That's my only NFL play for the night. Wow. And that was your first play as well, Jim. All right, the puck line is plus 217. Plus 217, Jimmy the Bag.
Oh, I need those units.
Elio Rodriguez says it's as close as a lock as I've seen this year. I assume he's talking about the Sharks here.
He is, yeah.
We're talking about. Wow, okay. All right. Wow. Brandon Cummings says Sharks are 21-6. Last 27 overall meetings against the Canucks. Everyone loving. Holy shit. And here we go. Talat Al-Tafi is an NHL guy from Vancouver, and he had his opinion on whether Jimmy knows what he's talking about or not. And his judgment is Jimmy does know what he's talking about. I'm an NHL guy from Vancouver. That's a comment from Talat Al-Tafi. Thank you so much.
Talat, we're going to hang when I'm back in the 604, my friend.
Wow, Jesus Christ. Sharks, everyone liking the Sharks here. Okay, all right. Wow, everyone liking the Sharks here. Maybe I'll jump on that one by the afternoon show. And I was also thinking about a shot with the under, although I know that the Sharks have been scoring a lot more recently. Maybe the Vancouver team total under would be a play. What's your take on the total in this one?
Yes, I mean, the problem is that the Canucks seem to be, when they get down, they don't seem to really dig deeper and try and get back into these games, and I'm surprised at that, but it seems that's the case. So there was one note that said that they've allowed 5 goals a game in their losing streak, and remember, when you're dealing with the Sedins, they're magical on the power play. They're not that magical anymore, but they have incredible
magic when they're on the power play, Jim.
Well, they're incredible playmakers, incredible passers, and I love seeing them on the power play. I think they're great guys and very incredible. They have so much composure with the puck, and that makes power plays work.
So what do you think about the Vancouver team total under, which would just be 2.5 minus 110? Yesterday we were talking about, what was it? There was one team total under that seemed really tempting, and I stayed off it, and it was an easy casher. I forgot what it was yesterday.
I think this is a unit grabber right there.
What about the Vancouver? You think that is Vancouver under 2.5 minus? I think the only way, unless they play totally different from what you guys are expecting, maybe if it's like 2-2 and then it goes to overtime and they win in overtime. But 2.5 minus 110. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's a nice
spot.
One? I think that's a nice spot.
I'll take that one. Vancouver team total under 2.5, just minus 110 right now at Pinnacle.
I'm jumping on that.
Too?
Yeah.
All right, Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 110. That is currently the line at Pinnacle. Yesterday was a very similar team total under that seemed like an obvious play. I didn't take it. I forgot what game it was, but it was just an easy casher. So
I'm happy that you brought that up.
Okay, all right. And again, if this was like minus 145, maybe not, but it's just minus 110.
Absolutely.
Not bad. That's the current line at Pinnacle. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Let's talk about the LA and the Rangers game. This is a very interesting matchup. Obviously, LA was dominant game in and game out, and then had a speed bump in their last game. Does that portend a slide coming up for them like we recently saw with Montreal, or was it just a speed bump and now they're great value as actually an underdog to the Rangers? What do you think, Jim?
It's a tough game to figure out, but yeah, I do think there's value with the Kings. The 8-game winning streak snapped. A good wake-up call. Those aren't always bad, but what we saw when the Jets had that 5-1 loss it wasn't just a wake-up call. It was a sign of the future, and we'll see with that Kings team, because I don't believe, and I've taken a lot of I don't think the Kings are as good as their record. They were held to just 17 shots in that game, lowest total since October 2015. The Kings have a very good record because of great goaltending and a very, very good team defense. I still feel like their forwards are big and slow. And if they're counting on Gaborik to supply offense this year, they'll be disappointed. He's 35 and constantly hurt. He'll be playing his 1,000th game tonight, though. They need Jeff Carter back, and he hasn't even resumed skating. But this Rangers team that just lost to Ottawa has now lost 3 of 4. Zibanejad is a big hole down the middle. I looked at their roster, and this is the reason why I think the Kings have value, and this is why the Canucks are going to lose. Their centermen are absolutely trapped. They have Kevin Hayes, David Desharnais, and Boo Nieves are the only 3 guys on the roster that play center. And that's awful. And that's the reason why they're going to start losing more games. That's why they've lost 3 of 4.
Hako Schofield says, Pete's mic needs to be closer. Is my audio not good? Is my audio low? I feel like I'm yelling. I don't know. Okay, Hako Schofield, could you tell me why Mike needs to be closer? Because if there's audio problems, that's not good. I was thinking about a shot with the under on this one. I did take it. I got it at minus 115. It has gone down since. It's now minus 120 at Intertop still, but Pinnacle has 125. I was thinking about a shot with the under maybe. What do you think? I know the Rangers can score, though.
Trevor Loudon says it perfectly. Quick versus Hank. Tough to argue the under. You know?
Tough to argue against the under.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took a shot with the under, and I'm thinking maybe about taking the first period under as well. I think that the full game under is probably going to go down, so maybe I can hedge out of that by the that might be not a bad way to add like tenth of a units here and there by hedging out of totals that you know which way they're going to go. All right, I will take that one for now. Obviously, we don't like to take these unders when the money line starts to get a little bit of a bigger favorite line, but I will take that one. The Rangers under 5.5. It is still minus 120 at Intertops, and that's about it. Intertops is the only place. Thank you so much. Oh, 5 Dimes does have it. Thank you so much, Intertops.eu, for offering us the best line on the under in the Rangers in the LA Rangers game right now. Under 5.5, minus 120, when everyone else has under 5.5. And thanks so much for sponsoring this show, Intertops.eu. What do you think, Jim?
I like it.
All right. Okay. Let's move on.
I've got some plays. Let's move on.
Wait, you got some other plays. Okay, let's go.
Okay, I'm taking the Red Wings. I know that the line has moved badly, but that's what we get for doing the show at this time, and I'm fine with it. The Red Wings were up 2-0 heading into the third period of their overtime loss to the Bruins. 2 nights earlier, they were up 1-0 after 2 periods in their 2-1 overtime loss to the Panthers. They're now 0-6 in overtime, 1-5-5 in their last 11. Zetterberg said, "You have to find a way to win. We're finding ways to lose." The Leafs are on the second half of a back-to-back. They lost a tough game against the Wild last night, my only winner. God damn. Austin Matthews remains out of the lineup with a concussion. They were 5-0 without him, and I said this earlier this week. I said, that will not continue. They've now lost 2 games in a row without him, only scored 2 goals in those 2 games. I think this is a good spot.
Okay, so you want him on the money line then?
I do.
All right, the best line right now, damn, they opened at plus 113, and I thought they were a good bet there. I was certainly accurate about that one. Once again, best line right now being offered by Intertops as well as the Greek, minus 110.
You know, maybe that makes no sense. Maybe that makes no sense because they're 0-6 in overtime, and the Leafs have the snipers that win shootouts. So maybe it makes no sense to do that. Maybe I have to take them on the puck line if I want to.
Okay, well,
let's
see what the puck line is here. Puck line would be, best line would be plus 255 at Pinnacle and a few other places. Plus 255 would be the best line for the puck line right now.
Maybe that makes sense because they're 0-6 in overtime. And the Leafs have the better shootout snipers. So why would I? Yeah, I'll go for the.
Elio Rodriguez says Detroit is a great spot. Rem Most says Toronto wins. Interesting. Justin Searcy says, who are we talking about? no, we're talking about Toronto, Detroit.
Okay.
Seriously, yes. And we got 5 more minutes, and we do have to get a little bit quickly talk about.
Okay, I'm going to take them on the puck line.
Okay. Plus 255 is the current line. Plus 255 right now is the current best line market wide. Okay. And I was thinking also about a shot with the under on this one. What do you think about that? No?
Al Max wondering if Mrazek is in goal. I hope he's not. McElhaney is going to be in goal for the Leafs, and he has been playing well lately. But he's a heart and soul guy. I don't know if that necessarily continues. But the question marks are the goaltending. Okay, so I was thinking about a shot with the under, but I'll skip that one for now. What else do you want to add here, Jim? Now I'm doing it again, but I'm taking the over in the Hurricane Sabres game. I'm taking the over at this big plus line. Okay. After losing 11 to 12 games, the Sabres were 2-0-2 in their next 4 before losing to the Flyers 2-1 last night. They have trouble scoring, yes. They're last in the league, 2.1 goals per game. Robin Lehner is much improved lately, .935 save percentage over his last 5 games. But this is the second half of a back-to-back, and Chad Johnson's going to be in goal. And he's looked god-awful this year. 1-5-2, 3.64 goals against average, .883 save percentage. The Canes stopped their 4-game losing streak. They've lost 8 of 11. This is the final game of their 6-game trip. I just think that they last played on Tuesday, so they're actually pretty fresh and I'm getting this big, giant plus line, and I'm going to do this again, and I'm not going to be afraid to just because I lost.
Okay, not that giant, just plus 123, Jim.
That's big enough.
Okay, big enough for you. And I was thinking maybe about a shot with Buffalo. I know that they're a bad team in general, but their home underdog line is now headed up there. It's plus 150. What do you think, Jim?
I think that the Sabres are playing better hockey, but they're the fucking Sabres.
They're so bad, right?
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't be. I mean, their defense is bad, and their offense really isn't. They don't have as much depth as I mean, they have top level depth, and they're not playing like top level players.
Yeah.
Eichel and Kane, Kane bothered me so much last night. He's a Vancouver guy, and I watched that game, and I was so angry. He had opportunities. He was just shooting it right into the goalie's chest, and I was just losing my mind.
Okay, I will take this one. I'm going to take Buffalo only because the line is headed up there, and Carolina's no great shakes either.
But they're saying, Trevor Loudon's like saying, no, Loshak, Chad Johnson's in net.
Oh, okay.
So, and he look at those 3.64 goals against average, 883.
And if I do want it, it'll probably be even higher by
when they announce it. Yes.
All right, so I will wait, and maybe if I'm going to take it, I'll take it at 6 o'clock. Okay, we got to. All right. So we got to move on. Jim, any other picks you want to add? Or no?
At this point, I'm not adding anything in the Stars Devils game. Stars have won 5 of their last 6 road games. They're starting to get production up and down their lineup. Those 6 games, they've had 12 different guys score goals. Lettinen's looked very good, and he will be starting again tonight. Bishop will start tomorrow. But Radulov left the game with an injury. Unclear if he'll play. Devils are playing. They're going to have Kincaid in goal tonight. Taylor Hall continues to be out. So there's a lot of volatility, and I'm
all right, so Jim has given Detroit puck line plus 255, Buffalo over 5.5 plus 123, and San Jose puck line plus 217, and the Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 110. And I've given just the Rangers game under 5.5 minus 120, and the Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 110. Let's move on quickly to college basketball because we're just going to throw up the record, talk about how we're going to be back at 6 o'clock, and then move on to the wrap up. But look at this record. Is the record? You throwing that record up there, baby? You're throwing that record up there, baby. Look at that. 101-71 is my record in college hoops. Plus 23.7 units, plus 12.6% ROI after 2 nice totals hits yesterday. And Jim is up 1.7 units, plus 2.2% ROI. And we will be back at 6 o'clock for the college basketball card. You have no picks as of right now, right, Jim?
I have no picks of it right now, but it's a nice 5-game slate. We're going to be able to nail these.
All right, sounds good. Let's now wrap it up. I'm going to review all the picks that we've given, and then we will wrap this shit up. And we'll be back once again at 6 o'clock Eastern time. We are under a time crunch. So Jim has given in the NHL San Jose puck line plus 217, Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 110, and the Buffalo over 5.5 plus 123, and the Detroit puck line plus 255. In the NBA, he's given Bulls plus 8.5, Indiana under 208.5, Indiana minus 4.5, and the Clippers plus 10, and the Washington game under 209, Houston game over 213, and the Philly game under 213.5. And I have given in the NHL Rangers under 5.5 minus 120, Vancouver team total under 2.5, and that's it. And then in the NBA, the Charlotte game first half over 103, Brooklyn first quarter pinnacle opener first half plus 7, and the under 218.5 in that one. Washington first half under 106, and the full game under 209. The Philly game under 213.5, the Indiana game under 208.5, and that's it. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks so much for tuning in.